Good morning, everybody. I thought I had to get up and do this video just because I heard how the Knicks ended up rolling through Cleveland last night. And being a Detroit Pistons fans for over 40 years, it's just ridiculous to think that we let Cleveland beat us. But Cleveland beat us because we have the most incompetent coaching staff in the history, to me, of basketball. I've never seen nothing like this. We had the best team by far, and it wasn't even close. And the world is just thinking Detroit had nobody to score or anything like that when it was just the opposite. Our bench actually averaged, when Cade went out with his injuries, without Cade Cunningham, we had a better winning percentage than with Cade Cunningham. And the world was just thinking we didn't have anybody coming off our bench, but all year long we were winning without Cade. And when Cade went out, we went 9-2 in the next 11 games. We only lost to Oklahoma City without our top four scorers, and we lost in overtime to them, and we lost in overtime to the Atlanta Hawks. And earlier in the year, when we were, I looked at it when it was, we had lost 12 games. 10 of those games we should have won, but we had such incompetence at coaching, it was just ridiculous. And it goes back to last year when we played the Knicks in the playoffs, where for some reason Bernie Bickerstaff would just take out Oscar Thompson. And I think Bernie Bickerstaff has something against Oscar Thompson because he would take him out all year long when the games would be close. And he would put in Duncan Robinson and Tobias Harris. He was starting these guys. And I don't know if he's listening to his father or whatever and living back 30 years ago. But all the teams that's left is the teams that put all defenders out there so you won't get beat off the dribble. That's how you get good offense, when you stop the other team. But for some reason, Bickerstaff's whole philosophy is when things is tight to put in Duncan Robinson. And Duncan Robinson cannot stop anybody off the dribble. So I just don't understand it. So he puts in Duncan Robinson, who averages 11, 12 points a game for 3 baskets that he gives you, 3 3-pointers per game, right? He gives up probably about 20 or 30. And really, he gives up more than that because when he gets beat off the dribble, right, it just breaks your whole defense down. And teams repeatedly would just go after that. So out of the 10 games that we had lost of 12, most of those games at the end, he would keep Duncan Robinson and Tobias Harris in the game, and they would just isolate those two. And they did the same thing in the playoffs. The reason why we lost in Orlando, we almost lost in Orlando series, and we lost the Cleveland series, right, is because one simple thing. Like, he had Tobias in there trying to check Pablo, and he would just back up, and Pablo would go score every time when he could have had B. Stu in there, who was the top rim protector in the league, and this guy is not starting at power forward. You're starting Tobias Harris at power forward, who's giving you about 13 points a game. It's ridiculous. When B. Stu is a more consistent scorer from the three-pointer, and he's one of the best defenders in the league. You got 3 of the top defenders in the league, and you can't win a championship with that. You got 4 of the top players in the league, and you can't win a championship with that. And the media is sitting up there talking about how we, Detroit don't have any scoring. Detroit don't have any players. They don't have any talent. They have the most talent, and it's not even close. When Ron Holland and Thompson are on the floor together, they cause havoc. They the one that all year long came back from any time we were losing because they just would turn up their intensity. And everybody thought we was a one-man team with K, but we had a better record without K because K turns the ball over too much. And I'm not blaming that on Cade. I'm blaming it on the coach. Because when he saw that Cade was struggling, I remember the game earlier in the year, and they pressed Cade, and he turned the ball over maybe 8 or 9 times. And he didn't make those adjustments. Great coaches only take 1 or 2 times to make an adjustment. So Cade would turn the ball over, but he's been doing that for 5 years. So the only thing you do is just you have somebody else to bring it up. They would press him all game just to wear him down. And when he gets tired, he makes the worst decisions ever. So you have somebody else to bring it down. The name of the game is efficiency. If Cade scores 25 on 12 or 13 shots like LeBron does, you'll never lose. So why do you just constantly wear him out? So the first game against Orlando, he decides to come in and play an 8-man rotation when his strength he could have been playing 13, 14 man because our pressure causes teams to turn over the ball so much that nobody really can beat us. I mean, when we played against OKC, we was up 12 points without our 4 top scorers. That's telling you something. They're not more physical than us, they're not bigger than us, and they're not faster than us. They have a bunch of role players when we got actually stars out there. There's nobody I would take in the league before I take Oscar Thompson. I sit up here and watch this man all year. I've never seen nothing like it. So when you can include Wemby in there, but Wemby, Oscar Thompson, and Isaiah Stewart are the best 3 defenders in the league. And then when you bring in Ron Holland, he's a top 10 defender in the league. So why aren't those people on the floor? We'll never win a championship with Jamie Bickerstaff. I don't know what these guys and that tells you something about the owner to extend him, because you're only winning because of who Troy Weaver drafted. He drafted that's some of the best drafting in history. He got you Duren, he got you Thompson, he got you Cade Cunningham. And he got you Jaden Ivey. And you trade Jaden Ivey. I'm thinking you just got Duncan Robinson until Jaden Ivey was ready. And you trade Jaden Ivey. And you don't even understand statistics or anything. With Jaden Ivey and Thompson on the floor, you had the most speed. So I was seeing the future where these guys just off of turnovers in the game and fast break points would probably get you 15, 20 points. And you got rid of Jaden Ivey. But you listening to these announcers talking about you need shooting. If LeBron James, right, if his teams would have quit making those mistakes to go get shooters, right, LeBron probably would have 10 championships. Because shooting is inconsistent. The 3-point shot is still only 30-something%. That's not a high percentage shot. Basketball been playing before 3-point shooters. So you would put Duncan Robinson in there to destroy the whole team when y'all should have won the championship last year. Now, even despite all of that I'm telling you, the referee still robbed us. We had 104 fouls against 52 after 5 games. You know what the probability for us to win? Maybe, I think it was 2% or something like that. We couldn't have won under all those fouls because the league didn't want us to play New York because we just blew out New York and they won New York in the championship. So for people who betting their money, y'all need to sue and get your money back because it was rigged. And the only thing I'm trying to think was Jamie Bickerstaff on the take, or is he just that incompetent? Like, really? Like, this was to the ridiculous standpoint. And as a Pistons fan, I can't even look for the future because if J.B. Bickerstaff is coaching, he's going to do the dumbest stuff ever. Like, ask yourself, they sitting up there making a narrative about Duren when he was going up against 2 and 3 bigs every game. Do you know the physical toll? And they were big bigs. And he didn't have Isaiah Stewart in there to go double bigs. Like everybody, look at everybody else. New York got 2 bigs. Cleveland got 2 bigs. Orlando had 3 of them. There was 6'10" or more. So why would he put in Tobias Harris was just overmatched? Yeah, he give you 20 sometime when he get on, but look what he end up doing. And I don't like talking. I mean, because Tobias is a good role player, but him and Oscar Robertson, they should be 11th, 12th man off the bench. They not elite players like that and nowadays you need that foot speed because all they gonna do is pick and roll you. It's a reason why I've built 5 multi-million-dollar companies and been successful because I just use common sense. So we're just living in a world now where right is wrong and wrong is right, and nobody uses common sense. And I have to sit up here and listen to all these major networks to sit up there and critique the Pistons like, oh, they don't have any scoring. Oh, yes, they do. Y'all just sat up there and watched when he played his bench how explosive we were. Go back, and this is not nothing I'm telling you, go back and look at the games, go back and look at the statistics. It was totally ridiculous on what Jamie Bickerstaff did. Even last year, I don't know if these guys are on the take or whatever. We had the guard from last year, who Malik Beasley, who was leading the league in 3-point shooting, got to the playoffs, didn't hit no 3-point shooting, and mysteriously got charged with gambling. Do you think he threw the game? And we just dominated New York. And who was the best player on the floor back in the playoffs last year? Go look at it. Jalen Duren was. So y'all blame on Jalen Duren. Yeah, he was shaky the first game or two, but after that, he was awesome on defense. He was challenging every shot. But because, go back and look at the game, but because Bernie Bickerstaff was so incompetent, he kept leaving Duncan Robinson and Tobias out there to check, and they was getting beat off the dribble. Duren would have to come up to try to make the block, and that's why he wasn't getting the offensive rebounds, because he didn't have 2 bigs in there. And then the other big would just get the rebound over a smaller guy. And Jamie Bickerstaff could not adjust to that. I'm sorry, I don't like to talk about a brother like that or whatever, but this guy is ridiculous. Cleveland got rid of him for a reason. He does not know what he's doing. It was the worst coaching job ever, and nobody's calling it out because they have this NBA brother fraternity that, that they try to throw the players under the bus, right? When it wasn't the players, it was just basically the coaching. Like who does that? Who goes against Duncan Robinson is a role player. And all year long, this guy would throw this guy in for us to lose the game. Do you know we would have broke the single season wins record if he would have took Duncan Robinson out at the end of the games instead of letting them continuously get in the pick and roll? They had come up 10 times. I done seen them leave Duncan Robinson on the floor, and they would go at him 10 times in a row and score. I promise you. Go look at the statistics in the playoffs. Thompson had almost a 0 when they isolated Thompson. He gave up like no points, and he would throw Duncan Robinson back in the game. Remember the last game when we was down 20-something points, and you thinking, okay, let me put the energy guys in, let me put Ron Holland them in, and he came back out there with Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris, and they couldn't check nobody. How do you take a team that has no weaknesses except those 2 guys, and those are the 2 guys that you play? There's no way none of those teams could have beat Detroit. Definitely OKC. The only team to me that had a chance to even hang with Detroit was San Antonio. And the reason being because we have the worst coach in the world, and the only thing that he had to do when he was playing San Antonio is put B. Stu out there to rough up Wemby. That's it. B. Stu is a secret weapon, and you're not even playing him. And why did you get rid of Jaden Ivey? Tell the people why y'all got rid of Jaden Ivey. You was sitting up there complaining about you didn't have nobody to score. Jay Ivey was one of the best players to me the last 4 or 5 years. The day that he got hurt, he had 20-something at the half. He was explosive. He wasn't but 23, 24 years old. Why didn't you just wait for him to get healthy? If it was something that was personal or whatever, why didn't you let people know? Like, if you're a Pistons fan, you should know that we're never going to win a championship with Bickerstaff. He just re-signed him to a long-term deal, which shows you how ignorant that the owner is. He don't know what he's doing. That's showing you that. We won because we had the team to win. Like when the whole NBA was saying how sorry Detroit was when they only won the 14 games or whatever, did they tell you that 7 out of 10 players was hurt every night? They never had their team. That was a backup team that was in there. And they was the youngest team, of course, as far as their nucleus. So when I hear people talk about the general managers, Troy Weaver put that team together. And as far as I'm concerned, the moves that Trajan Langdon has made has been the worst moves ever. You traded Jaden Ivey, and you went and got, with a great young team like that, Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson. Those are the worst 2 moves ever. They had the team to win it already. So that's crazy. And people who watch occasionally, I ain't missed a game in years. So I'm gonna sign off. You don't have to believe what I say. You go check it. But like I say, we living in a world where facts is not facts. You listen to like Charles Barkley and all them who don't know a clue. And this is somebody who played the game. They don't understand basketball at all. They don't. They just be sitting there talking stuff, ignorant. Sitting up there talking about, oh, Detroit don't have any scores and firepower. You ain't even been looking at the games to even know that. So the stats don't lie. When Cade Cunningham doesn't play, go back and look this. Detroit had a better winning percentage than they had when he played. So just go look at the stats. Actually, when Cade played, we had the number 1 offense, right? We had the number 1 offense in the league with Cade in there. So what does all that mean? It means if the coach did his job, wouldn't let Cade bring the ball up every time, give him some rest, right? Play him 30 minutes a game. When he start turning the ball over, sit him on the bench, right? He just doesn't need to handle the ball that much. Great player. Do you know Cade was number 1 in the league in defensive efficiency? Number 1 defender. Now, he's not better than Thompson, but he's really, really good. He's the best defender, but Thompson is just on a whole nother stratosphere. So it's never been anything really like this to have those 3 defenders on one team. And that's your strength. So why are you trying to take your strength and make it a weakness by putting Duncan Robinson and Tobias? If he signs those 2 players and re-signs them, it's over. You know, take that salary cap, get rid. Duncan Robinson actually had played his way out of the rotation on Miami, who didn't have hardly no talent. So Jamie Bickerstaff just in love with him or something. I don't know what it is. Is it a love affair? What is it? It's ridiculous. And of course he can shoot the 3-pointer, but there's a lot of people that's at the YMCA that can shoot a 3-pointer. If you can't play no defense in this league, you don't belong in the league. And did you know last year, I think Duncan Robinson 39%, but Jaden Ivey was 42% from the 3-point line last year. If Jenkins and all them played constantly, what you think their 3-point percentage would be? They all good 3-point shooters. Sasser knocked down 3-point shooters, but you wasn't playing them. You the one that caused us to lose because you wasn't playing the players that you needed to play. You could have been going with the big man rotation with Beef Stew at the power forward, Jalen Duren at the center, and then coming off the bench with Paul Reed as your backup center and play the three big men just like everybody else. Why you didn't do that? And then Ron Holland, you need him in there to pressure and put pressure on the other team. You so worried about a three-point shooter. This game was played years and decades before three-point shooting came in. See, what you're not looking at with your analytics, right, is you saying, oh, well, three-point shooter, we getting 3 every time, so if we hit this amount. No, you can't look at it like that. You got to look at when you play defense, the easy shots that you're going to get from the other team not scoring. What you think OKC won the championship with last year? None of those players that's hitting threes this year for OKC was hitting them last year. Go back and look at the statistics. They three-point shooting was terrible. They didn't even have no knockdown shooters last year, and they won a championship. So that's ridiculous. And here's the one thing, and I'm going to get off here. The one thing that you don't understand, when you get into the playoffs, you're playing against better teams, you're not going to get a bunch of open looks. And it's the end of the year, so three-point shooters are not that deadly at the end of the year. And you've been coaching how many years and you don't know that? You 50-some years old and you don't know that? Your father was a coach. You don't, and it's like you watching it every day and you putting this slow, non-defensive player. Look at all the defensive breakdowns that he made. When he hit them three-pointers in the game that we won, look, he gave up. I saw him give up 12 points in about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It don't even make any sense. I'm out.